mean by you overcome at the last? Because when Christ come back, you're going to get the kingdom back. You're going to be the leaders of the whole earth. 144,000 of the whole tribes of Israel, 12,000 from each tribe, right? And that's what you want to be. You want to be one of those leaders, all right? Well, watch this. Now give me Isaiah 65 and 11. Now, Bible says precept must be upon precept to get the understanding of the Bible. You can't read the Bible as like just a novel and think you're going to understand the Bible, because God speaks in parables, all right? So watch this.
The book of Isaiah chapter 65 verse 11.
Read.
But ye are they that forsake the Lord.
Today, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we hate God. We don't do nothing he says. We forsake the Lord.
What?
Read.
That forget my holy mountain.
We forgot where we come from. We forgot who our God is. Read.
That prepare a table for the truth.
We prepare a table for the truth that killed the Native Americans. What's that called? Thanksgiving. That is what it's called today. Because back then, the turkey was the body of the Indian. The stuffing was the smallpox and diseases they gave y'all. The cranberry was symbolizing the blood of the Native Americans. They did that all just to give us, I'm going to give you an example, to give us something to worship, right? But watch this. At that time, when we were slaves, right? When we had the white gloves and things like that, picking cotton, we cooked Thanksgiving. Did we eat it? Did the slaves get to eat Thanksgiving food? Hell no, they didn't give us Thanksgiving. They gave us chitlins. They made us eat pig. They made us eat pig. So at the same time, even if you go back a couple 100 years, when we were in the slave fields, we never ate Thanksgiving. But today, give me that in Colossians. Yeah, today we're spoiled. We're a spoiled people. We out here doing everything our oppressors say, but we won't do what God says. After that, give me Romans 6:16, all right?
Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiment of the world.
So God said, don't be deceived after the traditions of men. Holidays, they're spelled H-O-L-I, right? Not H-O-L-Y. The Bible calls it holy days in Leviticus 23, right? So now we celebrate holidays, which were created by our oppressors. Read from the top.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
That's what our conquistadors did. That's what the white man did when he conquered us. He spoiled us through philosophy and vain deceit. Read.
And vain deceit. After the tradition of men, after the rudiment of the world, and not after Christ.
They never bring the Bible out and show you who you are. They don't try to give you the truth. They give you lies. Celebrate Thanksgiving. It's about family. It's never been about family. It's about the murder of the Native Americans. That's what it's always been about. And if you celebrate it today, that's what it's about. So you're ignorant if you celebrate it, all right? But now watch this. What's coming up? Columbus Day. You know that, right? I had a question. Did Columbus discover the world? Hell no. Hell no, because we were on this side of the world, right? I like that. I like. You might have Northern Kingdom.
Oh, yeah, I know.
She over there. She like, what? All right. So watch this, brother. What we gotta understand is we're the same people, all right? So they call her American Black, right? They call her American Black. So I want you to look at that sister right there. She would be Judah, right? She's your sister according to the Bible. That's why God says we're not supposed to be out here whoring out our sisters. Most Latinos and blacks, we just messing with each other, but we're not marrying each other. The brother was going into marriage with you, sis. We don't know how to find a good man. Women don't know how to find a good man. And men don't know how to be good men. Because they're not trying to be like God. They're not trying to, or like Christ, and keep the commandments. Right. All right? Where we at? Yeah. There you go.
Romans chapter 6, verse 16.
Bring it out.
Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey?
Whoever you listen to on earth, whoever you follow. So if you follow Christmas, Halloween, and Thanksgiving, read.
His servant you are to whom ye obey.
That's your God. He says whoever you listen to, that's your God. So people who follow Allah, that's their God, right? If you follow, even though they say they follow Allah, right, and then they celebrate Christmas, technically their God is white. So at the end of the day, they say they follow Allah, but then they celebrate Christmas. They confused. Our people are confused, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get them out of that sleep. Because they're asleep right now. Let me get that real quick before we go into Columbus Day. Yeah, Romans 13 and 11. So I want to show you something. We're going to go into Columbus Day, which is coming up.
Romans 13 verse 11.
Bring it out.
And that no other time, that now is high time to wake out of sleep.
So what's the first thing that happens when you wake up? Physically, what happens with your eyes? They open up, right? God wants you to open up your eyes and understand that you're not Hispanic.
Right.
That means property of Spain. That's not your nationality, brother. You're not African American. That's two white people. Scipio Africanus, Amerigo Vespucci. You can't be two white men.
Right.
So God tells you to wake up. Open your eyes. Understand that this Bible is your history.
Right.
All right? So what we're going to go into is Columbus Day. So he didn't discover America. So what people were on this side of the world? Let's get that in the Apocrypha. Hey. Let me get page 35 on here. All right, just hold page 35. All right. So let's read the history.
Second Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40.
Now I want to tell you something cool that I learned when I started keeping God's commandments and I started reading the history of our history books. The first book and second book of Ezra in the Apocrypha was taken out of the Catholic Bible. They have Tobit, they have Wisdom of Solomon, Sirach, but they took out the first two books because they don't want us to know that we're family with them.
Right.
They want us to make us Catholics and make them Christians. Right. So they separated us by color and by religion. All right. So now let's read the history. Let's see what happened.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king. Whom Salmanasseh, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land.
Get that 2 Kings 17 and 1. So watch this. He said, those are the 10 tribes of Israel that were carried by Salmanasseh out of their own land. So when you read the Bible, you got to know that history. If you read that verse, you got to know where it's at, right? So I'm gonna give you the page in the Bible that all the churches have to show you what history he's quoting. All right, let's see. Start at 6. 2 Kings 17 verse 6.
2 Kings chapter 17 verse 6. 9th year of Hosea the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria.
So Samaria was our capital. The northern kingdom of Israel, the Latinos and the Native Americans, we lived in Samaria. And we got captured from there and we got taken to Assyria. All right, read.
And placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of Medes.
So we got taken to over the river Gozan. Now go back to 2nd Ezra. Now watch, we're going to read it again and it's going to say the exact same thing. So Ezra was telling us the same thing we just read. Watch
40 again?
Yeah, start at 40.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land.
Their own land, which is Samaria.
In the time of Hosea the king.
Hosea was our king at the time. Read.
With Salmanasseh the king of Assyria led away captive.
So he led us away captive. We just read it.
And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
Over the water goes on. We got taken over that water, right? And we came into another land. That was Assyria. Read.
But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would lead the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country. So
guess what? The Native Americans and the Aztecs and the Mayans, all of us, we decided to come to this side of the world. But who led us? Get that in Deuteronomy 33. So who led us? Out of all these, I want you to look at the sign. Out of all these people over here, who do you think brought us to this side of the world? Who are the ones that have the most Latino pride today? They always waving their flag. They always running around. Ah, she knows, Puerto Rican. Let's see what the Bible says.
Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 17.
Because they're the Taínos. Look, they're the Taínos. They were called Taínos. They were the kings. They were the kings of the northern kingdom. They were our leaders. They were the head tribe. All right, watch this. Let's see what the Bible says.
Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 17.
Go ahead.
His glory is like the firstling of his blood, and his horns are like the horns of unicorn.
Go ahead. So you got a rhino. You got a big horn and a little horn, right? So you got Ephraim and Manasseh. All right, read.
With them he shall push the people together to the end of the earth.
So he pushed us to this side of the world. Ephraim and Manasseh. It's gonna tell you who they were. Read.
And they are the 10,000s of Ephraim,
Puerto Ricans,
and they are the thousands of Manasseh.
Manasseh are the Cubans. Today, if you look at the Puerto Ricans and the Cuban flag, it's the same flag. The same flag. Why? Because the white man, the so-called white man, he's Esau in the Bible. He has to leave little clues to remember to his kids who the tribes are. He's like, okay, let me make sure these people are called this. Let me make sure these people are called that, right? He did the same thing with our flag. So let's keep reading.
But they took this counsel among themselves, that they will lead the multitude of the heathen,
Ephraim and Manasseh, read.
and go forth into a further country, where never mankind dwelt.
We all were on the east side of the hemisphere, right? But we decided to come to the west side, read.
That they might there keep their statues.
Now watch this. It says that they might keep their statues. Fringes, the things you see at the bottom of the clothes, right? That's a commandment that Moses, when we got out of Egypt, right? He gave it to us. He reminded us that was a commandment from the beginning. All right, we got to keep fringes on. So they started wearing fringes on this side of the world. All right, you see that on the bottom? So they had fringes on the borders of their garments. Read.
That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
So we weren't keeping the commandments. That's why we kept going into slavery, right? Read.
And they enter into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river.
So we went through the Euphrates River, read.
For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over.
So the Most High made sure that the waves didn't kill us when we crossed the ocean. We went around Africa. Today it's called Africa, but it was called the land of Ham, right? So we went around Africa. It took us a year and a half. We started dropping people off in South America, North America, Central America. All right, watch this.
For though that country, there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
It took us a year and a half to get all the way over here, right? It's a lot of people. Go ahead.
And the same.
Oh, okay, watch this, watch this. So you got right here. All right, we went around Africa. So we went all the way around, right? And then, this is called Africa today, but it's called the land of Ham, right? We went around and then we started dropping people off on this side of the world, all right? You can't see the other side, but we went around the waters, all right? Watch this. You got, yeah, keep reading, keep reading.
For though that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
It took us a year and a half, read.
And the same region is called Arsareth.
So Arsareth, that's what the Bible calls it, right? We're going to show you what it really means, but first I want you to give me 1 Corinthians 12 and 32. Watch this. So it said God showed us signs how to get to this side of the world. Now, can you hold the sign up? Out of all those tribes you see right here, now I know you probably don't know these names just yet, but on the right-hand side, which one of these tribes knew how to tell time, knew how to, they had the best calendar in the world. They knew how to use the stars for navigation.
Aztecs.
Aztecs, all praise, that's my people. I'm Mexican today, but back then I was called Aztec, and then in the Bible I was called Issachar. All right, watch this. Now let's see if God says it. Let's see if God says the same thing. Read.
And of the children of Issachar,
The Mexican Aztecs, read.
which were men that had understanding of the times,
Oh, they had the best calendar on earth, read.
to know what Israel ought to do.
And they even knew, the Issacharites knew how to get to the side of the world.
Okay.
So they knew what to do. So the Bible is prophesying that we were good with the navigation, all right? So that's why when we read it in Ezra, it said that Ephraim used us to come to the side of the world. They used our intelligence of the stars, all right? Now let's get the precept. No, this book. I want this book. So now watch this. I want you to read the title of the book. And this is, no. Drop everything else. Just hold this book. Read the title. Watch this.
The origin of the American Indians.
Yeah, show it to them. Show it to them. And the camera. All right, so this is a book. It says The Origins of the American Indians by Lee E. Huddleston, 1492 to 1729. All right, so that's when we got conquered, right? Cortez, Columbus, Cortez, all of them, right? Watch this. So start with the orange.
Okay. Page 35.
Watch this.
Briefly, luminous argument was the 10 tribes of Hebrews exiled to various parts of the Assyrian Empire by Salmanasseh had escaped to Arsareth.
Stop. So it said this same book. Now let's read the back before we even give them the answer. Let's read that first line.
The American Indians, origin, culture, and language, engaged the best minds of Europe from 1492.
So this is the heads of all the Europeans. This is what they say about me and you and the people that were on this side of the world. Let us read the bottom part. We started the orange again.
Okay. Briefly, luminous.
Luminous, which was a white man, conquistador, read.
Argument was that the 10 tribes of Hebrews,
The 10 tribes of Israel,
exiled to various parts of the Assyrian Empire,
Go ahead.
by Salmanasseh, had to escape to Arsareth,
we escaped to Arsareth. The Bible said Arsareth. We just read it earlier, right?
which luminous identifies as India, America.
As America. So the white man knows that we were on this side of the world. This is America. This is where they knew we were at. That's why when you read books about Columbus, it said he had Hebrew translators with him, right? Like if you go to a Mexican shop, right, and you only speak French and you don't speak Spanish, you might get you a translator. Hey, I don't know how to say, certain things in Spanish. So you bring you a translator. So you got to know what the people speak on that side of the world. So Columbus used the Bible to understand how to get to this side of the world.
Right.
There's a movie called, what's the movie called?
1492.
1492 by Christopher Columbus. 1492. When you watch that movie, it's a Hollywood movie. When you watch the part where Columbus is talking to the priest, he says, how do you know that we're not going to fall off the edge of the earth? Because, they thought the earth was flat. And he says, Esdras. That's what he says, Esdras. Who's Esdras? We just read his book in the Apocrypha. That's why they took it out of the Catholic book. Because then that's going to show you that you are brothers and sisters with the so-called African Americans, the Jamaicans, the Haitians. All are the same people. They don't want us to know that. Because when we come back, We're gonna take over the earth. How are we gonna take? Give me that 2 Corinthians. It's not carnal, but spiritual.
I got you.
Watch this. So how are we gonna take over the earth? Are we gonna fight for it? Are we literally right now gonna go fight the other nations for their stores and stuff like that? Hell no. We're gonna use the word of God. And guess what? If all women stop wearing weave, the Chinese shops are gonna close down in our neighborhoods.
Right.
If all women, if our men stop smoking cigarettes and our women, guess what? The Arabs gonna get the hell out of our neighborhoods.
Right.
That's how we destroy this place. All right. Watch this. We're gonna
2
read down the Bible.
Corinthians chapter 10 verse 4.
Read.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
So you could get a whole bunch of men, like back in history when we had the brown berets and that era, we had AKs and stuff like that. Guess what? They just gave us a little crack. They gave us little women with pants, and guess what? We got destroyed.
That's right.
Because of our lusts.
Right.
All right, read.
But mighty through God
Go
to
ahead.
pulling down of strongholds.
We out here pulling down all the lies that they teach our people. The phone. So we out here teaching our people what really is going to help them get out of the situations that they're in.
Right.
It's not fighting. It's not religion.
Right.
It's not going into different beliefs, Scientology and all those things. It's coming back to your true history.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are Israelites. Take care of us. And our children too. We have repented. How are you? People want to know who's the king.
O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father. O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father.
Now why they trying to make it so hard to serve God? And why when I say that I'm a Jew, it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sound wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.